Before I start this review, I want to say that Beetlejuice is the only movie in this series of reviews that I have already seen beforehand. Everything else I am seeing for the very first time, specifically for these reviews, and in preparation for today's movie, Silence of the Lambs, fuck. Hey everyone, it's Alexander the Real Mr. Robinson, and this is my review for Silence of the Lambs, which came out in 1991 and is the Best Picture winner of the year I was born. The movie follows an FBI trainee named Clarice Sterling, played by Jodie Foster, as she is assigned to try to find this serial killer named Buffalo Bill, who skins the back of women to pretty much make a suit out of. It's messed up. So in order for her to track down Buffalo Bill and see where he is, she goes and talks to his doctor, Hannibal Lecter, played by Anthony Hopkins, who is in prison and is actually just as crazy, if not more crazy, than Buffalo Bill, because whereas Buffalo Bill was a serial killer that skinned women, Hannibal Lecter is a cannibal. You know, Hannibal the cannibal. And the rest of the movie, if I'm just going to get right down to it, is one of the most disturbing experiences I've ever seen when watching a movie. Like I said before, I've never seen Silence of the Lambs, and the plan was originally for me to review David Cronenberg's The Fly, but I figured, you know what? I could save The Fly for next year. Silence of the Lambs seems like a more culturally important movie than The Fly, just on the basis that it won all these Academy Awards, and gave us one of the best on-screen villains, Hannibal Lecter, so why don't I do that? Plus, I bought the Criterion Blu-ray during Barnes & Noble's half-off sale, so I've already got the movie. And yeah, this movie is... If I could use one word to just sum up the experience watching Silence of the Lambs for the first time, it's stress. I don't think I've ever been more stressed out watching a movie than I have with this. And I saw it at home. I can't even begin to imagine how stressful this movie may have been to watch in theaters. But I'm talking about all this like I dislike the movie. Not at all. No. I think this movie is amazing. I mean, this movie is a true masterpiece when it comes to building tension, making you feel nervous or scared. It's got fantastic performances from everyone. Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins are the ones that steal the show. I mean, both of them won the Academy Award for Best Actor for Anthony Hopkins and Best Actress for Jodie Foster. And Hannibal Lecter, he really is the one that makes this movie. Anthony Hopkins commands every second he's on screen. You really feel nervous whenever you're around Hannibal Lecter. And he might do some stuff that seems kind of goofy, like the... Can't even do it properly, but I think that just plays into how crazy this guy is. Because Hannibal Lecter is a character that seems to be incredibly classy, he's well-spoken, he's polite at points, but you know deep down inside, he eats human flesh, and he is downright psychotic. And then you have Ted Levine in the movie as Buffalo Bill, and there are points where I really started to question who's actually more crazy, Lecter or Bill, because Buffalo Bill does a lot of stuff in this movie that is deeply disturbing. And when it comes to the last 10 minutes of the movie where Clarice finds Buffalo Bill, that is probably the most nervous I've felt watching a movie. Like, the last 10 minutes of this movie, there were points where I recoiled in how disturbing it is. For those of you who have never seen Silence of the Lambs, it sounds like I'm just making this a bigger deal than it actually is. No, this movie creeped the shit out of me. I thought Texas Chainsaw Massacre was creepy, and for a while that was the creepiest and most disturbing horror movie I've seen until Silence of the Lambs. I should point out right now that I've not seen The Exorcist, which is often considered to be the scariest horror movie ever. I will reserve judgment until I actually see The Exorcist, but I can't imagine it being more scary than Silence of the Lambs, because supernatural horror doesn't really scare me when you get right down to it. Movies like Silence of the Lambs, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Psycho, and Halloween really disturbed me because there's nothing supernatural about these movies at all. They're very down to earth, they're very grounded, and really goes to show you that something like this could easily happen. And Silence of the Lambs is probably the most disturbing thing I have ever seen. Because of that, because this movie is just so well crafted on every account, it's worth seeing in your lifetime. But I don't know if it has any rewatchability to it, because I love this movie. I think it's fantastic. Like, everything about it's perfect, as I keep saying beforehand. I mean, there's a reason why it won the Academy Awards for Best Picture, Director, Actor, Actress, and Screenplay, because it's so expertly crafted. But I don't think I can ever rewatch this movie again. If I'm ever going to rewatch Silence of the Lambs, it'll probably be just for the scenes with Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins, whenever these two characters are talking to each other, because those scenes are just so brilliant. But the rest of the movie as a whole, I'll still hold on to my Criterion Blu-ray because A, I spent money on it, and B, it's a fantastic movie that I want to showcase in my collection, but I don't think this is one I'll ever revisit again. And there you go, that's my review for Silence of the Lambs. Now tomorrow we're going to move on to something a lot more lighthearted, and I mean a lot more lighthearted. But first, I want to know what you guys think about the movie. If you've seen it, what did you think? What is the most disturbing horror movie that you've seen? It doesn't have to be your favorite, just the one that creeped you out the most. Whatever that may be, let me know in the comments below. And until next time, I hope you enjoyed this review. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and of course leave a comment. Don't forget to support my Patreon page, follow me on social media, and until next time, this is the real Mr. Robinson telling you there's only one.